The regular meeting of the Aurora City Council for Monday, January 28, 2024 is called to order. With the clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Kaufman.
Here.
Councilmember Bergen. Here. Councilmember Coombs. Councilmember Gardner.
Here.
Councilmember Hancock.
Here.
Councilmember Drinsky.
Here.
Councilmember Lawson.
Here.
Councilmember Medina.
Here.
Councilmember Murillo.
Present.
Councilmember Sundberg. Mayor Pro Tem Zvonek.
Here.
There's a quorum.
Announcement for the public call-in line.
City Council welcomes feedback from the public on both matters appearing on the agenda and during public invited to be heard. If you would like to speak and have not already spoken to an operator, please press *3. For those watching on Channel 8, call 855-695-3475 and press *3 when connected. You will hear a prompt confirming you're in line to speak to an operator and then be able to continue listening to the meeting. When the operator comes on the line, please be ready to give them your name and agenda item you wish to speak on. Keep in mind you must press *3 before the city clerk reads the title of the item you wish to speak on. Finally, as a reminder, council does not allow comments about any items on the agenda during public invited to be heard. Each speaker is allowed 3 minutes, and public invited to be heard is limited to 1 hour in total.
El Consejo Municipal de la Ciudad de Aurora da la bienvenida a la opinión de sus habitantes y otros vecinos en asuntos comparecientes en la agenda y durante la invitación a la audiencia. Esta sesión tiene disponible interpretación en español. Por favor, háganos saber si usted necesita este servicio. Recuerde que el Consejo no permite comentarios de la audiencia mientras se dirigen asuntos de la agenda del día. Por favor, confirme su turno y espere a la invitación para comentario público. Gracias.
Please join me in an invocation. O Lord our God and our Father, we come to you and we ask that you would look upon this particular gathering tonight to keep us safe and guide us in our decisions. Bless our city with honorable citizens, industry, sound education, and good government. Unite our community together, even though we come from different backgrounds. We pray that there be justice and peace in our city. Give the City Council and citizens the wisdom, direction, and sensitivity to the business and proceedings before us tonight. Hear us, therefore, as we commit this meeting to the help of the community. Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Executive session update. In the executive session, we discussed litigation and security considerations. Land acknowledgement. The City of Aurora acknowledges that we gather on the territories and ancestral homelands of the Cheyenne, Ute, Arapaho, and Lakota peoples, past and present. We also recognize the 48 contemporary tribal nations that are historically tied to the lands that make up the state of Colorado. Indigenous peoples have remained committed to the stewardship of this land over many centuries. As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties that these nations have to their traditional homelands and to their vital place in the ecosystem are renewed and reaffirmed, and we are called to be better stewards of the land we inhabit, and we continue to work to meet the needs of our entire community. Approval of the minutes. Motion is in order.
Mayor, I move to approve the minutes.
It's been moved by Councilmember Sundberg, seconded by
Hancock.
Councilmember Hancock to approve the minutes of December 18, 2023. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the approval of the minutes from December 18, 2023.
Mayor Kaufman.
Yes. Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Sundberg?
Yes.
The motion passes to adopt the council meeting minutes from December 18th, 2023.
A swearing-in ceremony of relief judges to the Aurora Municipal Bench. Presiding Judge Sean Day.
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council. It's my great honor to administer the oath to two of our relief judges who you voted to reappoint, Judge Katie Allison and Judge Charles Peters. We'll begin the oath together. I'll start by saying I, and then have each of you state your name individually, and then we'll continue with the oath together, okay? Raise your right hands and repeat after me. I, having been duly reappointed as a municipal judge for the city of Aurora, Colorado, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully and impartially administer the affairs of such office in accordance with the Constitution of the United States of America and of the state of Colorado, and the ordinances of the city of Aurora, to the best of my judgment and ability. So help me God. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Is anybody going down for this one? Okay, there we go. Whereas Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., having been a prophetic voice that reached out over the chasms of hostility, prejudice, ignorance, and fear to touch the conscience of America, challenged us to make real the promise of freedom, equality, opportunity, and brotherhood, and whereas Dr. King was a vital figure of the modern era which sparked the conscience of a generation through the movements and marches he led, and whereas an uncompromising champion of nonviolence. Though often being the victim of said violence, Dr. King demonstrated unshakable faith and inspired others to resist the temptation to hate and fear, and whereas an instrument of change for all time, Dr. King helped make it possible for our nation to move closer to the ideal set forth in our Declaration of Independence, that all people are created equal, and whereas with his life devoted to serving others by proclaiming a message of love that transcended borders, the strength of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s leadership was matched only by the power of his words, which still call on us to perfect those sacred ideals enshrined in the United States of America's founding documents. Now, therefore, I, Mike Coffin, Mayor of the City of Aurora, Colorado, do hereby proclaim January 15, 2024 as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, a witness whereof I have hereon set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Aurora, Colorado to be affixed this 8th day of January 2024. Mike Coffin, Mayor, Aurora, Colorado.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, City Council. My name is Shartasia Miller, and these are my committee friends with me, and we have Gerald, Claudine, and Gerard. When we think of Dr. King and what he stood for, we have many kings right here in Aurora. Capturing the dream, we are doing that today. And we still are fighting for peace, nonviolence, a better unified community, our children's safety, and to be free and loved by all.
Thank you. Councilmember Angela Lawson will read the next proclamation.
Hi, Jacob. How are you? Okay. This month is Human Trafficking Awareness and Prevention Month, so the proclamation reads, whereas human trafficking, a serious global crime impacting communities everywhere, involves the exploitation of adults and children for the purpose of compelled labor or commercial sex work. In Colorado, it is most often presents as sexual exploitation, forced labor, involuntary servitude, and debt bondage. And whereas human trafficking most often goes unreported due to several complex issues, including its covert nature, the lack of awareness about trafficking indicators, and methods of coercion and control employed by traffickers, and whereas fighting human trafficking must include educating the community on trafficking indicators and the resources, services available for victims of these crimes and acts. And whereas by effectively encouraging the public to understand the signs of trafficking, pay attention to their surroundings, and report unusual situations to law enforcement, together we can help restore freedom and dignity to trafficking survivors, as well as help diminish the number of future victims. And whereas the City of Aurora and the Office of the District Attorney for the 18th Judicial District joined together to promote annual observance of Human Trafficking Prevention Month and Human Trafficking Awareness Day on January 11th, which demonstrates a joint commitment to prevention, prosecution, and increasing awareness to eradicate human trafficking. Now, therefore, I, Mike Kaufman, Mayor of the City of Aurora, Colorado, do hereby proclaim the month of January 2024 as Human Trafficking Awareness and Prevention Month, and encourage all Aurorans to learn about and report the signs of this heinous crime in our community. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Aurora, Colorado, to be affixed the second day of January 2024. Mike Kaufman. I just want to say this particular issue, I brought this up in 2018 due to, I was in a business area and there was trafficking right down the hall. And there was human trafficking in the business where they have your insurance company, your dentist's office. It was right down the hall from me. And ever since then, this ordinance that I passed in 2018, due to my colleagues, my council members who were on council, thank you, and to the mayor that was at the time, Mayor Kaufman, you as well, we have been able to stop a lot of the human trafficking that's going on in the City of Aurora. We will not have it. But we do need to have the community. If you see something, if something doesn't look right, it's probably not, and report it to law enforcement. So I want to thank the 18th Judicial, and I'm going to have you speak as well, Trevor Vaughn, and also everyone who has actually helped in this effort to make sure that this ordinance is still sustainable in Aurora, and also that it has also been in other parts of our country as well. So thank you so much, and please report it. If it doesn't look right, it probably isn't. And just even if it isn't, even if it could be, it's good to just report it anyway, because you could be saving a life.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councilwoman Lawson and the rest of the City Council of Aurora for this proclamation today. At its core, human trafficking is an awareness-driven problem. My name is Jacob Kremen, and I'm a Senior Deputy District Attorney at the 18th Judicial District. What we've learned is that human trafficking is a $150 billion per year industry here in the United States. With profits like that, they could be trading on Wall Street with some of the biggest companies we have in our society here. We know that the average age of entry into a life of human trafficking is just 13 years of age, and that the average life expectancy after entering into this life is just 7 years. That 13-year-old child that should be in their 7th grade classroom, once they fall victim to this life, they simply won't see their 21st birthday. And that's because their advocacy is taken away from them by their traffickers. When someone falls victim to this life, everything that they have is being controlled by someone else. Their food, their housing, their clothing, their transportation. And that's why it's on us as community members to, if you see something, reach out and say something. Oftentimes, this is an issue that's depicted as occurring away from the home front in other countries, but it is happening here at home, and this is a victim population that needs all of us to spot the signs, reach out and say something. And proclamations like this, we are very proud to be partnered with the City of Aurora that has proven year after year to be dedicated to rooting out this problem, acknowledging it exists, because that's the only way that we can effectively stop this together. So thank you again, Mayor. Thank you, City Council.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No, it's not. These are just being re-victimized.
Public invited to be heard.
The first individual is Sharon Glapion. Okay, Robbie DeYoung.
Happy New Year, Mayor and Council. My name is Robbie DeYoung, and I am the director, manager, whatever you want to call me, of the Next Door Group Stolen and Vandalized Vehicles in Colorado. There's several things that I want to bring up. I wish I had more than 3 minutes. I'd like to make a proposal that it go to 5. But one, January 1st of 2023, there was a law passed, an ordinance passed in Aurora that there was 3 days that someone could go and pick up their stolen vehicle from the impound lot. I want to know what the stats are on what happened last year, how many people were able to take advantage of that, and I'd also like to make sure that that remains funded. I'd also like to bring up the problem with abandoned vehicles. Now, I do understand that there's another person that will probably be coming up and talking about this. Their situation, we're talking about not months, not weeks, but years of having abandoned vehicles. Six cement trucks. These aren't little bitty, teeny tiny Kias or Hyundais. Cement trucks that still haven't been moved since 2002. Come on, we can do better than that. I would like to see this council work this year on doing what we can. And when you see something, say something. If anyone in this audience or anyone on the council sees an abandoned vehicle, call Access Aurora at 303-739-7000 and report that abandoned vehicle. And do not stop reporting it until those abandoned vehicles are gone. This is ridiculous. We still are seeing cars without proper plates on them. we're still seeing, and I know the stats are saying that there aren't as many stolen vehicles as there were. I have over 1,900. I have almost 2,000 members in my group right now. And I can tell you, because I see this on a daily basis and some things that I do on Facebook, there in the last 3 months has been more stolen cars that I have seen reported than I have the prior 3 months. So I'm not buying this, that the stats are down. So I'd like to see everyone focus on this and do something about it and not just nod your head.
Eric Shanholzer?
Hello, everybody. My name is Eric Shanholzer. I was able to tune into the study session today, and lo and behold, you were talking about me, sorta, because you brought up people of larger girth. Fat people, that's what I am. Now, it's only been an hour. I haven't been able to write a response. Luckily, Vincent Buono wrote a perfect one for this, and I hope if it goes over 3 minutes, you'll indulge me a little bit. And I know I was pointed out that there are some chairs out there that are ADA. Well, there's at least one, that's all I've been able to see, that are ADA compliant. But here's the response I have. Portly, chubby, plump, or stout? No, that's not that right one. How about, paradise was very nice for Adam and his madam until they filched the fruit and took the fall. We lost our place and fell from grace, and you can bet we can't forget that eating is the oldest sin of all. Since man first fell, we made life hell for those who tend to make things bend, and I, for one or two, can take no more. I sound the call for fat folk all. Follow me to liberty. I hold the lamp beside the kitchen door. Too long have we been forced to be the slapsticks of society. Too long have we drank tab while they drank wine. Our cause may seem a hopeless dream, but faith and pride are on our side. Our acids may be fatty, but we're fine. So the time is now when we must vow to find a place within our race, to sound our horns and let our banners flutter. Being thin is where it's been, being fat's where it's at. So forward, fellow fatty, and pass the butter. And let's hope when you guys request a proposal that you take us into account and we're not a side thing that we have to ask them to redo bids for and it costs extra money. Thank you.
Tanya Tabachek?
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I had a couple things. The main thing I wanted to bring up is to thank some officers that arrived at my house this past week. Sorry, it's kind of upsetting, but my brother had a major meltdown. Sorry, and he's special needs. Sorry, and the police came and they were very kind. And they knelt down and they just sorry. And they really showed their care and concern for my brother. And the ambulance came and took care of him. But it was Officer Olette Watts, JOJ. And
Let me finish.
sorry.
This, like she said, this week we had 2 officers arrive because I called the police on my son. Never, ever, ever have I done that. He is 40 years old, mentally 3, and he had a major meltdown. We couldn't handle it. I first took him to the police station, to the fire station, and Ben, in 2, was able to calm him down, and I thought everything was okay, after he had thrown a kind of stuff in the car at me. I brought him home, we went in the house, and he had another meltdown. Now, I called the police. She is a provider through ILC, so she is able, and a guardian. So she was able to hold him down. The police came, and I was terrified, because I've seen what many policemen have done in the past when they've been called to take care of people like my son. I was terrified. Well, anyway, they were great. These 2 officers, Watts and what's his name? Odell?
I think there's 3 of them.
And came, and you know what? Calmed Charlie down, went in the house, got him calmed down. And dispatch, thank you, God, for how dispatch is working now. The fire station, the fire chief knows what the hell he's doing, excuse my language. She said, do you want the police or do you want medical? I said, I want both. They came, Charlie was able to get up, he's calmed down. Medical took him in an ambulance to UCH. I didn't want to go to UCH because I hate UCH now. But that's the best place we took him, and he's okay, he's home. I called his Dr. Olson at Aurora Mental Health because that's his doctor, his psychiatrist. And so we wanted at this time to say thank you to the police, because thank you. I was terrified, but thank you. And you did a great job. The police are doing a great job. And the fire station and the ambulance. Great job. Right?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Elizabeth Cadez.
Good afternoon or good evening, City Council, the Mayor. I'm here tonight as the Chief Public Defender in the City of Aurora to address publicly and comment on the RFP that went up today to contract out the services that my office provides. The City Council has maintained over and over again that even if this RFP was going to go out, and even if we were soliciting contracts for bids, that there would be no decision made unless the services that were proposed could be the same level of services. The RFP that issued today continues to be, as it did on the 11th of December when we met for the study session and prepared material to provide to you, continues to be incredibly inaccurate. It reports that the individuals who are submitting proposals should count on 1,800 cases annually and 80 jury trials to verdict each year. Both the numbers that will be in the 2024 final budget as performance measures, as well as the preliminary numbers by the National Center for State Courts, who this City Council voted to spend $245,000 to conduct a court-wide workload study. Both of those sources consistently provide that if you only include the cases that proceed past first appearance, we're at 2,200 for 2023. We had 123 jury trials. So the RFP that's been put out so that the public is aware suggests about 80% of the cases, not even including the cases that we represent at first appearance. And if you include the cases where we appear just at first appearance, less than half of what the jury or of what the public defender actually provides. Only 65% of the jury trials. There's no reason to believe that any of these numbers would go down as drastically. And all of you have been provided this. The city manager and the presiding judge have been provided this. And perhaps more concerning is that in addition to the numbers being inaccurate, there is no mention of any evaluation or any tool, any standard, any constitutionally adequate provision that will guarantee that this RFP will actually elicit bids that you can rely upon to continue to represent the indigent accused in this city. Again, I urge you, as I did before, and as I believe other council members urged, to consider the data and the actual constitutional and statutory authority that came along with copious standards for this profession and for the service we provide for the city. Thank you.
Susan Tabachek.
That's year-to-date, 23.5.
Okay, now I'm going to tell you who I am. I didn't do that last time. I'm Susan Tabachek, and I'm a native Coloradoan, born in Gunnison, raised in North Denver. Now, I want to tell you that Lieutenant Ansler is in charge of the traffic division and the parking lot area, and I constantly called you up about this. I was irritated, said some nasty things, but I meant it. I'm telling you, this guy is we no longer have a parking lot problem. Yeah, at Concord. For some reason, it's gone. So I want to thank you and Medina if you got involved in this. I appreciate that also. And Mayor Kaufman, I appreciate you following up and really getting involved. I appreciate all of you very much, and thank you for how to say compliment. I just had to say thank you.
Okay.
I don't hear that garbage anymore. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, we have one person on the call-in line.
William, you're next. Go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Awesome, thank you. Sorry I couldn't make it there in time, guys, but thanks for letting me call in. Okay, so my name's William Montgomery. You guys have actually seen me on your council before. I was the person that that girl hit with her car and totaled my RV. So I got a beard, red, so forth. Here's the gist of it. Okay, so tonight I'm going to talk to you about something else, but it's still kind of related. It's homeless related, in my opinion. But basically, I grew up in a reasonably wealthy family. I have a computer background, so I consider myself to be a pretty sharp guy, actually. 10 years ago, I had a freak medical accident, became homeless, but, got discriminated against by a lot of cops and ended up starting to become kind of like a, constitutional law scholar. I ended up, discovering that there's a lot of discrimination out there on the streets with homeless people. And then before you know it, I started, discovering that if I don't show my receipt at Walmart, I can actually sort of induce or catch or audit, discrimination there, if I happen to get unlawfully detained, arrested, searched, and so forth. And so I've actually been moderately successful at this. And I have a case with you guys, Montgomery v. Lore, where I anticipated that this might happen ahead of time. I pre-recorded myself. It's 100% zero disputes of fact here. And I've sued you guys, and I've so far beat your motion to dismiss. I have beat your 10th Circuit Court of appeal. And so there's no disputes of fact here since I had recorded it, and that was part of the complaint. All the facts are there. So at this point, I'm probably going to beat your motion for summary judgment. I'm probably going to beat you at trial. And you have a city attorney, Julia Bannon and Jillian Falsing, that are literally hemorrhaging your money at this point on a dead case. It's going to go nowhere. And I'm just trying to reason with you guys at this point. I am willing to settle this case for $37,000. That's half of what I originally asked for. After going through all your trials and your appeals and so forth, I file all my own lawsuits. It's a lot of work on my end, but here's the gist, is that I am the cleanest, most responsible homeless man you'll ever meet. I'm still sick after this surgery after 10 years. I'm still looking, for more doctors, still living on the side of the road in an RV, slightly human trafficked by your new law that I have to move fast now. I'm up to my eyeballs in debt. I have a brother that's helping me right now. I'm still trying to afford my bills, food, stuff like that. I'm trying to fix up another RV to move into since my current one was totaled. And ultimately, You guys talked about prayer and, justice and wisdom. This would be the best opportunity ever to save a
William,
homeless
your
person's
time is
life.
up.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, that was the last individual.
Are there any responses to the public invited to be heard by members of council? Let me just speak to the issue that was raised about motor vehicle theft and abandoned vehicles, and that is, I've been out with our parking enforcement, and they're fairly aggressive about moving abandoned vehicles, and we have year-to-date motor vehicle theft has declined by 23.5% year-to-date. And I credit that in part to Mayor Pro Tem Dustin Zvonek with the passage of his proposal to have a mandatory minimum sentence to motor vehicle theft, as well as a position taken by this city council to the state legislature to make all motor vehicle theft a felony. With that, motion is in order for the adoption of the agenda.
Mayor, I move to approve the agenda.
It's been moved by Councilmember Sundberg, seconded by
Bergen.
Councilmember Bergen to adopt the agenda. Discussion? Seeing no further discussion, a question before us is the adoption of the agenda. Call for the question.
Mayor Kaufman?
Mayor votes yes.
The motion passes to adopt the agenda.
Adoption of the consent calendar, resolutions and ordinances, item 11B1 through 11B4.
Mayor, motion to approve 11B1 through 11B4.
It's been moved by Councilmember Gardner, seconded by
Sundberg.
Councilmember Sundberg to approve item number 11B1 to 11B4. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of the consent calendar, resolutions and ordinances, items 11B1 to 11B4.
The motion passes to adopt the consent calendar for resolutions and ordinances.
Let's see. Will the clerk now please read the title to item number 12A?
Item 12A is Ordinance 2023-69, a public hearing and consideration of ordinance of the City Council of the City of Aurora, Colorado, for a zoning map amendment to rezone 5.0244 acres of land to medium-density residential district located at the northeast corner of Sable Boulevard and East Mount View Boulevard.
Public hearing is now open. Presentation by staff.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. My name is Asia Tibbs. I'm Planning Supervisor here for the City of Aurora. Before you is a public hearing for the Sable Boulevard Townhomes. It was originally held and continued on December 18th, 2023. The applicant request is to rezone 5.02 acres of land from rural residential to R2 medium density residential. The Planning Commission reviewed the application request with the approval criteria and found that the application was consistent with the comprehensive plan map and goals to expand housing and additional housing within the emerging neighborhoods place type. It is compatible with the size, scale, height, density, and multimodal traffic impacts, is consistent with surrounding zoning and development patterns of the area, and does not dislocate any tenants of the property. In response to Council's question regarding the previous meeting and traffic questions, Public Works has provided the following summary. The applicant's engineering consultant prepared a traffic impact study, or TIS, to support their site plan submittal. The TIS has been reviewed and approved by Public Works staff and shows that development will generally generate a very low volume of trips. The traffic signal is not warranted in the near term at the intersection of Montview and Sable. The study has also evaluated a long-term scenario and estimated the 2040 future volumes. The growth rate used for this analysis was 2%, which is a very conservative estimate considering the built-out area around it. While the long-term scenario shows that a signal may eventually be warranted, it is very unlikely given the land uses in the area. As a result, this intersection is not planned for signalization. City staff will continue to monitor the traffic volumes in this area to see if intersection control needs to be modified in the future. This concludes staff's presentation. We do have city traffic staff as well as the applicant's traffic consultant available if there's more questions. Thank you.
Very well. Presentation by the applicant?
There is none, but they are available for questions. Thank you.
Very well. Does anybody wish to be heard on this issue?
Yes, Dean Antweiler.
Mayor, Council, my name's Dean Antweiler. I live in Ward 1. I'd like to have a few more minutes than 3 minutes. This,
I'm sorry, it's, no, it's, I'm sorry, your limit is 3 minutes.
this, and it won't be much more. But anyway, this traffic engineering, when this all started, Kephart Engineering was involved in this. And the city engineer that was handling this, his name was Donald or Zolba, something like that. He had sent numerous 3 different questions to the engineering firm about this traffic. And the engineering firm, the city engineer, Daniel, was not satisfied with this report. Kephart kept sending it back, well, it's 4 hours. Daniel wanted more than that to substantiate why they don't need this a more detailed type of a study or a signal. And they get into 8 hours, and I'm not an expert in all this kind of traffic stuff, but I can read these reports, and I know that there was a pushback from this builder or the engineering firm to not want to have this this problem come on him. The last time we had a little meeting here, this traffic was brought up that it's not part of this zoning change. On this site plan application, it's pretty clear that it is. So the other thing, and I'm almost done, Adams County did their own traffic, or not their own traffic, but their own growth of what's the demographics recently. The traffic engineers are using 1.8%. That's what they're projecting the Adams County and Aurora is going to grow at. Adams County does theirs, and theirs at 3.8%. So there's a discrepancy on this growth of what Adams County is going to do. I live in Adams County. Who's right, the city or Adams County? I don't know. The other thing, there's another about 4 acres right next to this. They had a different traffic engineer do their report. This outfit's called, where the development's called Westlake Vista. It's on 21st and Sable. The thing we're talking about is on 20th and Sable. And I've sent a lot of you emails that have the pictures of what Vista, or Westlake Vista, is proposing, and they're putting a traffic light right there at 20th, or 2000 Sable, which is Montview and Sable. Finally, last week, the city of Aurora sent a truck out. They put their truck out, and they put a big sign up, a new sign with big lights around it. What's that all about, if this isn't a problem area?
Thank you.
And I'll answer any questions if anybody's got anything. Be glad to.
Questions of of staff, the applicant, or the individual who testified?
Question of staff.
Okay, Councilmember Bergen.
Yes, on the traffic, you stated earlier that it's not warranted for a signal today. However, would other traffic studies be done in the future, based on particular population growth, for example? If it actually exceeds what the city percentage was, would another traffic study be done and then could determine whether it's warranted?
I'll answer that if that's okay. My name's Carly Campuzano. I'm the traffic manager in the Public Works Department. So yes, in the future we could restudy the intersection, and we frequently do that citywide at other locations, with or without new development, just to see how traffic patterns change. So that would be the case here too. Even though it's not warranted today, it could be reviewed in the future.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions, staff, applicant, or the individual who testified? Seeing none, public hearing is closed and a motion is in order.
Mayor, motion to approve 12A.
Second.
It's moved by Councilmember Gardner, seconded by Councilmember Murillo to approve. Is discussion?
Mayor,
Councilmember Murillo.
I understand that there's not something warranted right now. Is there a preemptive request that we can make at a certain point in this process to have that reevaluated, the traffic study reevaluated? I understand it's done periodically. I also understand why community members might not, that just is so ambiguous. Is there any way to create some certainty around that follow-up around traffic calming?
So to answer that, we definitely could reevaluate the intersection in the future. This traffic study that was done for this development is still very recent, and none of the criteria is close to being met for a signal. So we typically don't evaluate, in the same year. We could potentially look at it again next year. What I would say is, if you wanted to open a council request, we could definitely use the process for that, and we could recollect data and take a look at it.
Okay. I think I'll go ahead and do that. I know this is not part of this conversation, but just contextually speaking, the vacant parcel next to that was also recently rezoned to be a similar, density, increased density, where it's just vacant right now. So the little rancho that you guys are talking about rezoning is going to increase the amount of, vehicles there, and then the property right next to it also recently was rezoned as well. So I understand Mr. Atweiler's concerns, and I feel like that's probably the best that I can do at this time. So just thank you.
Further questions or comments? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of item number 12A. Call for the question.
The motion passes to adopt ordinance 2023-69.
Clerk, now please read the title to item number 12B.
Item 12B is public hearing and consideration of ordinance 2024-02 for a zoning map amendment to rezone 10.244 acres of land to Business Tech District located west of the intersection of East 40th Avenue and East 40th Circle.
Public hearing is now open. Presentation by staff.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm Sarah Weil, presenting for staff this evening. Before you tonight is a city-initiated zoning map amendment to rezone 10.2 acres at 15800 East 40th Avenue from the MUC Mixed-Use Corridor District to the I-1 Business Tech District. There's an existing office and light manufacturing building on the site. The property is within the Gateway Park development, and it is adjacent to hotels and Interstate 70. So this is the current zoning map. A rezone is proposed to I-1 to align the approved use of the building with a consistent zone district. Prior to the UDO being adopted in 2019, the property was in the Gateway Park 4 West General Development Plan, which allowed limited light industrial, indoor assembly, and manufacturing uses. A site plan was then approved in 2002 for Serta Mattress Company for those uses. However, the UDO adoption changed the zoning to MUC, which made the existing use legal nonconforming. The proposed zone change to I-1, as illustrated on this map, would create consistency between how the property has been used for over 20 years and the current UDO. There are other properties zoned I-1 just south of the site. The Aurora Places Place Type Map identifies this property as an industry hub, which aligns with the requested zone change to I-1. At the Planning and Zoning Commission public hearing on December 13th, 2023, the Commission recommended unanimous approval of the zoning map amendment to I-1. The property owner and their representatives spoke in support of the change, and the request is consistent with the approval criteria for zoning map amendments in the UDO. That concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Presentation by the applicant?
The city is the applicant, so
Okay.
there's no applicant
Does
presentation.
anybody wish to be heard on this issue?
Okay, yes, we have one individual. Todd Messenger.
Thank you, Mayor Kaufman, members of the council. Todd Messenger, Fairfield and Woods PC, 1801 California Street, Denver, representing the property owner, Shalom Realty, Aurora Center 1 at Gateway, Colorado, Limited Partnership. The owners of the subject property would like to thank Ms. Weil for her work on this correction to the city zoning map. At this point, we'd like to just take a moment to ensure that the record is complete with respect to the decision-making criteria, and that there are several ways that this property could be approved for rezoning, and we'd just like to point out that in addition to the UDO section that was quoted by the city attorney in the staff report, section 146-5.4.1.c.3.a.I provides that an independent grounds for approval of the city-initiated rezoning is the change to the zoning map is needed to correct an error, which is independent of all the criteria that you've seen listed. The Planning and Zoning Commission, we think, found that there was an error, although in the minutes it could go either way, that they found that the criteria were satisfied or that there was an error. Moreover, the property owner submits that the Planning Commission found that all of the other criteria in 146-5.4.1.c.3.8.2 were satisfied. And in this case, the changed circumstances in the case were that the large-scale rezoning initiated by the city was at odds with the approved GDP and site plan. And finally, we would like to provide that submit that the subject property is part of a well-planned, high-quality planned development that's been going for 20-plus years, and that Gateway Park, the integrity of Gateway Park, is an essential component for funding the metropolitan district that takes care of the improvements and so forth. The property works great. It's a lovely building, and it ought to be able to continue to be used for the purposes for which it was originally constructed. Owner Representative John Block is present virtually if the council has any questions of ownership, and I would be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you very much.
Are there questions for staff or the individual that just testified? Seeing none, thank you very much. Public hearing is closed, and a motion is in order.
Mayor, motion to approve 12B.
Moved by Councilmember Gardner, seconded by
Sundberg.
Second by Councilmember Sundberg to approve item number 12C. I'm sorry, 12B. Further discussion? Seeing none, call for the question on the adoption of item number 12B.
Councilmember Zabonik.
Yes.
The motion passes to adopt ordinance 2024-02.
Will clerk please now read the title to item number 12C.
Item 12C is public hearing and consideration of ordinance 2024-03 for a zoning map amendment to rezone approximately 4.2 acres of land to mixed-use corridor district located at the northeast corner of East 33rd Place and North Chambers Road.
Presentation by staff.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. I'm Stephen Gubrud, presenting on behalf of the Planning Department. And this evening, for your consideration, I'll be presenting agenda item 12C. The applicant, 3550 Chambers LLC, is requesting a zoning map amendment to modify the zoning of an approximately 4.2-acre vacant property located at 3550 North Chambers Road from I-1 Business Tech District to MUC, Mixed Use Corridor. On screen is a vicinity map showing the overall location of the site. The property is situated on the northeast corner of Chambers Road and 33rd Place. The applicant is proposing this zoning designation be changed to MUC to allow for development containing a mix of uses, including restaurants, commercial services, and a hotel, the latter of which is not permitted under the current I-1 zoning. As illustrated by this image, the proposed zoning map amendment would create a contiguous MUC zoning district along with the areas to the west and north. In regards to the Aurora Places Comprehensive Plan, this property and the vast surrounding area shown in tan are designated as the industry hub place type. The permitted uses within the MUC district do meet the intent of the industry hub as defined by the comprehensive plan, which is evident by the presence of adjacent and nearby MUC zoning within that same place type. In accordance with the approval criteria regarding zoning map amendments listed in UDO section 146-5.4.1.c.3, this proposal meets these criteria because the proposed MUC zoning is compatible with the spirit and intent of the comprehensive plan and would allow for the development of supporting land uses within this place type. The potential size, scale, height, and density of proposed zoning is compatible with surrounding development, zoning districts, and land uses, and the proposed zoning would not dislocate any tenants or occupants of the property as it's currently vacant, and would help buffer the nearby residential properties from more intensive industrial type development and activity, which is common in this area. And with that, I've concluded my presentation. Thank you for your consideration. The applicant is also present if you have any questions of them.
Thank you. Is there a presentation by the applicant? Does anybody wish to be heard on this issue?
No.
Very well. Are there any questions from council members or staff for the applicant? Seeing none, public hearing is closed and a motion is in order.
Mayor, I move to approve 12C.
It's been moved by Councilmember Sundberg, seconded by
Gardner.
Councilmember Gardner to approve item number 12C. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of item number 12C.
Councilmember Murillo. Councilmember Murillo.
Yes, I don't know why my script's not working.
The motion passes to adopt ordinance 2024-03.
Thank you.
Okay. Reports. Last year, the mayors from the 3 largest cities got together. Myself, Mayor Hancock, and Mayor Southers, and we said, well, what can we do to get together on an agenda to reduce crime in our respective cities and across the state of Colorado? And we came to an agreement on 5 different issues. Governor supported it. The majority of them did pass the legislature and were signed into law by the governor. This year, I got together with the new mayors, Mayor Johnston of Denver and Mayor Mobilati of Colorado Springs, and we came to an agreement that this year we would bring forward a request for funding for more inpatient mental health beds in the state of Colorado. And so we did a op-ed on that very issue that was published in the Denver Post and I think in the Denver Gazette over this weekend. And with that, it's not Councilmember Lawson. Mixed up. Councilmember Gardner.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to reappoint Danielle Lamon and Julie Marie Shepard-Macklin to the Citizens Advisory Budget Committee.
Councilmember Jurinsky.
Well, Mayor, I'm going to call you out because you did not talk about the woman that you scared half to death in the state park. So I'm going to have to talk about that when we met Santa and you followed the wrong car in the state park.
Oh, no.
So during my break,
no.
during the break, the mayor and I met Santa at the Cherry Creek State Park. Santa had a present that we got to open with a whole bunch of announcements. There are new programs out there, archery, boating. They have a bald eagle show going on and new roads opened. We were given very simple instructions. And that was to wait for the park ranger to go first and follow. Park rangers' vehicles are normally marked. The mayor did not and followed a woman all the way to the other side of the park. And when she parked her car, he got out and walked up and stood right next to her, and she was about to call 911. And the whole event was put on hold because the park rangers, he left his phone at home. I couldn't understand why I'm calling him over and over. He left his phone at home. So the park rangers had to literally send out a search to go find him before this event could take place. So, but anyways, with that, a lot of new programs at the Cherry Creek State Park, some really cool stuff going on. There are 3 upcoming town halls. I'll let my colleagues tell you about them. Ward 4, Ward 2, and Ward 5 town halls coming up. I will be co-hosting all of them, and myself as an at-large member, we do welcome residents from anywhere in Aurora to attend these town halls. Thank you.
Well, thank you for bringing that up. I really appreciate that. And let me just say, council member, it was pretty dramatic, the poor woman. Councilmember Coombs has the flu tonight, and she was not able to be with us tonight. Councilmember, Mayor Pro Tem Zvonek.
Yeah, I have no report other than say it's not uncommon to be hanging out with Danielle and have the cops show up. So you're in good company.
Come on.
Okay. Okay. Councilmember Murillo.
Thanks, Mayor. I have my first town hall at the MLK Library Thursday, January 25th at 6 p.m. We'll need to cut it a little bit short this time, so just till 7 p.m. And, I hope everyone had a happy holidays, happy New Year's, and for our friends of the Orthodox variety of faith, I know your Christmas was yesterday, so Merry Christmas to you all. Thanks.
Councilmember Sundberg.
Thank you, sir. Only thing I have to say is I have a town hall co-hosted by Danielle Jurinsky on January 18th, Central Rec Center, 6:30 p.m. If you have any serious, tough questions for the city of Aurora, our new city manager will be there to field those questions for you and talk about his vision. If you're having any serious questions about Aurora Public Schools, their curriculum, their reading rates, their math rates, you can ask those tough questions of our new superintendent, Michael Giles, and those 2 men will arm wrestle after the event.
Very well. Councilmember Medina.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I just have my town hall starting tomorrow, Tuesday, 6:30 at the Active Adult Center, and we'll be doing updates on Ward 3. Thank you.
See, Councilmember Hancock.
Well, I'm excited, joined by Councilmember Jurinsky. On the 11th, we will be having our first town hall at the Colorado Early Colleges, and I encourage all of you to attend. I want to meet you, greet you. Let's talk about what's happening in Ward 4 and what we can do as active citizens to be stakeholders in our own lives. So come on out. We start at 6:30.
Councilmember Lawson.
Thank you, Mayor. I first want to do my second CABC appointee, Bob Roth, will be my appointee for my second appointment. And for my legislative update, there were 8 new Colorado laws that have gone into effect beginning January 1st, and I'm pretty sure everyone heard these, but I want to repeat them. Right to repair. House Bill 23-1011, ban on single-use plastic bags, law from 2021, with this provision now going into effect. Remote evictions, House Bill 23-1186, affordable EpiPens, House Bill 23-1002, electric vehicle tax credit, House Bill 23-1272, eating disorder protections, Senate Bill 23-176, non-consensual patient exams, House Bill 23-1077, changes to the state election system, Senate Bill 23-276. The 2024 Colorado legislative session will begin on January 10th. In Congress, the House and Senate have reached a deal for the fiscal year 2024 appropriations bill with $886.3 billion for defense and $772.7 billion for non-defense programs. As a reminder, if the FY24 budget does not pass, we will see a partial government shutdown on January 19th. The first Pfizer committee meeting of the year will be Friday, January 19th. As the new Ward 5 Council town representative, I will have a town hall this coming January 13th at the Heather Gardens Auditorium from 10 to 11:30 a.m. We will be talking about crime statistics in Ward 5, the homeless and encampment issue on Parker Road and I-225 corridor. I will also be with co-hosting on January 25th with Councilmember Jurenski from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at the Central Rec Center. This will be a hybrid, and we will be talking about the same subjects. And that's my report, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Lawson. Councilmember Bergen.
Thank you, Mayor. And my only report is that I have my town hall on Wednesday, January 17th at the Southeast Recreation Center on Alexander Drive. And the topics will be snow removal, appropriate this time of the year. And then also I will be giving a presentation on city government as well as my general updates. We always have our PAR officers present and fire if they have any reports to give. So hope to see you on the 17th. Thank you very much. 6 to 8.
Oh, thank you. And I failed to mention that I'm doing a town hall meeting on January 27th. Starting at 1 o'clock on a Saturday at the Aurora History Museum. And with that, meeting adjourned.